Hey, good evening, everyone. In tonight's trading video, I want to take a look at the S&P and Apple. So we'll start off by looking at the S&P 500 here. And last we took a look, you can see that the market had closed above this high, right? So you can see the last swing was from this low right here up to this high, came retraced down into about 50% of that move, and then started heading back up. So the first thought process that I have is when I draw my fib, I'm going to go from the low here to this high. And again, you can see it came into 50. So when it breaks above this and closes above it, we have a thought process, right? That's what we call in our trading room. And the thought process is that there is a 70% chance that it's going to attain the 127. So at this point, it's closed above here. It did that last week. So our expectation is that there's a 70% chance it's going to hit the 1272 extension, which in this case is just around $204, just so about $4 from where we are right now. So from my perspective, what I'm looking for here is there a situation that allows me to get long on this trade, right? Do I see a long opportunity? Now on the daily chart, you don't really see anything. You kind of see it just hanging out here. And if you don't see anything, what I usually end up doing is I start looking sort of more intraday to see if something comes up. And that's when you'll start to find opportunities. But the point that I'm getting at with this is that, and we'll look at Apple in a second, is that you can use larger perspectives to understand the likely target. So if I have if I presume that there's a more than likelihood that it's going to get to $204, right? If there's a 70% chance or close to it, then I want to stay on the long side, right? And then from there, I can start to drill down to whatever chart I'm comfortable with and see if there's any trading opportunities, right? So that's how I would approach that. So now if we take a look at Apple, right, what are we seeing here that's not very dissimilar, right? This is obviously a bigger move here, but similarly, if I go and do the exact same thing, so we went from this low all the way to that high, right? And then similar to what we looked at before, it stopped right around the 50% and started moving up. Now look what happened last month. It closed above that high. So what is my thought process? The thought process is exactly the same. That there's a 70% chance it's going to attain the 127, so around 124, 125. Interestingly enough, a bunch of analysts came out today saying that their target, air quotes here, was around 120 to 125. I'm not saying that it has anything to do with fibs, but based on our analysis, I feel the exact same way. So, given what I know on the monthly, I can now drill back and start looking on weeklies and dailies for any buying opportunities. Now, if that's not there, right, then what do? You can start looking at some smaller moves. Like I said, an hourly chart, 2-hour charts, something that you're comfortable with. You're going to see a lot more action there, and it's going to allow you to kind of get into those, possibly get into that move. But from my perspective, I continue to want to stay long Apple because of that chart. All right. So we're a week away also from a supposed announcement of new devices that could also spur a quick move up there. So overall, I'm bullish on Apple, and I want to stay long. So you can see here, took a while, but these are the kind of moves you can possibly get into and ride out, right? Someone in the trading room, by the way, mentioned like this little move like a week ago, right? Like this move, they bought it here, and you can see they rode it with minimal risk, and it continues to move. So you might find these kind of moves in smaller time frames. All right, hope that helps, and we'll see you guys tomorrow.